Fox, presented by Michelin, is brought to you by UPS, official delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck. UPS, official delivery company of NASCAR, delivers a chance to win 4 tickets to the Daytona 500. Log on to foxsports.com, keyword UPS Racing. Jerry Nadeau back on track 8 laps down, but the report is he may be leaking fluid. They're going to bring him back in. And let's go to Matt.
Well, a great race car prepared by Ryan Pemberton. A heartbreak, Ryan. What's wrong with the car?
We broke an oil pressure fitting in the back of the heads there. We lost a lot of oil. It's a shame. Gary's been doing a great job. The team's doing a great job. We really feel like we're getting things together here. It shows like it on the racetrack, qualified third, and we're running third, so we feel really good about everything. It's just a shame the U.S. Army car was doing great. The team's really come together. Just a shame.
I had that happen at Charlotte 3 or 4 years ago. Normally you would run a steel fitting right there. It goes into out of the back of the motor through the firewall to the gauge. Sometime a guy will mess around and put an aluminum fitting right there, and that line sits there and vibrates and breaks that fitting right off.
Well, Darrell, what NASCAR has now decided is Nadeau's come around a couple of times, and they believe what may have been leaking was what was spilled from the earlier leak, and that now that's burned off, and they're going to leave Jerry out on track.
He probably had a little residual oil laying around on top of the motor there.
And what's frustrating about that fitting, that's not a fitting for performance. It's just for the driver to be able to read the oil pressure. Makes you wonder, why would we run an oil pressure gauge?
Yeah, and trust me, if that's what happened, you'll go home and you'll kick yourself all week long.
All right, begs the question, why not an electric gauge? Why run a gauge where you've got to run an extra line to the gauge? Why not use an electric sender?
I don't think that'd be very... on these engines, I mean, they're dry sump engines, and if the oil pressure... there's only a couple of gauges you really need to be really accurate on, and the oil pressure is one of them. So I wouldn't want to take a chance on some kind of electrical problem messing up my oil pressure gauge.
Here's our pole sitter, Elliott Sadler, and the Robert Yates number 38 Ford, Jeff Gordon, 3rd and 4th.
And quite honestly, if you look at these cars today, the gauges in them today are just about like what was in them 10, 15, 20 years ago. They haven't changed all that much. One of the few things I can say that about.
Right. Here's Kurt Busch. They're lighter. The gauges are lighter. We know that. Here's Kurt Busch, who was running in 5th place. Let's listen here.
In the right front to help us flop it over there.
And what he's saying there, Darrell, is they must have been a little bit loose. They put wedge in it, which is supposed to tighten the car up, but it made the car looser, which is not unusual about this racetrack. So what he's saying, get that wedge back out. What's making me loose is my car is laying down on the right front, then it's getting loose.
Yeah, he's got too much wedge in the car, and it's actually like riding on 3 wheels.
And I think Jeff Hammond can show us at the Ford cutaway car exactly what he's kind of describing there a little bit.
We're going to try to, Larry. What's going on right now with Kurt Busch? If you'll look, he's talking about the right front. It's going over. His car's rolling over too much for him. He doesn't like that feel, and that's making him loose. They've already tried to tighten up with wedge. So what he wants Jimmy Finnick to do is on that next time they come under, call under caution, is to put a rubber in the right front. What they'll do is come in, take the right front tire off, stick a rubber right here in his right front spring, just like this. Slam her up in there. What that will do, it will make the right front spring, thinking that it's stiffer. They'll be able to make another chassis adjustment to go along with this rubber in the right front, keep the car from rolling over and make it more comfortable for Kurt Busch so he can get back up there and challenge for a win.
Yeah, if they put about a half a rubber like Jeff had in his hand there, that'll stiffen that spring about 100, 150 pounds. You can't start the race with a rubber in your front spring, but you can add one as an adjustment on a pit stop during the race.
106 laps complete. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s lead, 2.8 seconds on Mark Martin.
But what I liked about that was Kurt Busch, young kid. Doesn't have a lot of experience on any of these racetracks, but he knows what he wants that race car to do. And he's telling Jimmy, and that's what crew chief Larry knows, and Jeff. He wants the crew chief, give me some feedback. Tell me what you need. Tell me what we can do to make the car better. And that was a great call on his part.
And that's what Jimmy Finney has told me about Kurt Busch. He never quits thinking about, A, what his race car's doing, what it might need to fix it, or what he can do to make the car better himself.
Right. Now here's Dave Blaney. Blaney's He's been in the top 10 all day, flirted with the top 5, and he's presently in 7th place. Jeannie?
And it has been a great day for the 77 car. Robert Booty Barker getting no requests from his driver. You guessed absolutely perfect, I guess, on this setup.
No, if we were perfect, we'd be late.
All right, fair enough.
No, it's pretty good. He's a little loose off right now, but I just told him to ride. Just don't wreck. You know, we got, what, 185 to go, and Darlington can fight you anytime. So we're just chilling.
So far, so good, guys.
You know, Mike, Larry, Jeff, a guy I wanted to pick, but I kept watching him practice. He started way back in the field, and I thought they maybe not going to have that great a weekend, but I should have known better. Dale Jarrett in that 88 car is slowly working his way up through this field, and he's up to 11th place right now. And that car really looks good. He's picking them off one at a time. I think we're going to hear a lot about Dale Jarrett before the day's over.
The first race we did here on Fox, 2001, Dale whipped up on him pretty bad here 2 years ago.
And I think he's doing the same thing he did 2 years ago. He's good. He don't run that fast lap, but he's good on those long runs. And something we need to mention, this is Dale Jarrett's 500th career start, Winston Cup start here today.
Guys, talking about Dale Jarrett, what I found to be interesting, I think they've talked about it a couple times, Jeannie Zelasco documented that they were able to use the notes off of Elliott Sadler's car. They actually even changed the front spindles, Larry, because the feel in Dale's car was not quite like he wanted, and he relied a lot on what Elliott said about his race car. Thought maybe it was just a little bit better, so they made those changes, which are pretty big when you come to a racetrack, to change front spindles to get your car driving right.
Jeff, you wouldn't let me change my pick, would you?
Darrell, no.
Just thought I'd ask.
Speaking of picks, Sterling Marlin, the defending champion of this race, or at least the second, make that the third time today, has just pulled his Dodge to the garage. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads at 111 laps by 1.6 seconds over Mark Martin.